welcome. Let us look at we have not finished communication as a unit. I think you are with your notes. You have them?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So before we look at the summary, I would like us to go through the forms of communication. Forms of communication. Actually, you mute yourself. Okay.
Yes.
So in communication, we have 5 forms of communication. The most common. You can tell us the ones which you have, if you can remember. The forms of communication. You have the notes with you.
Yes.
Yes. So what are they?
Verbal.
We have verbal.
We have non-verbal.
Non-verbal.
Then audiovisual.
Audiovisual.
Then audio.
Audio.
Then visual.
Then visual. So there are 5. So what's the meaning of the term verbal? The meaning of the term verbal. Mangi, when we say verbal, what do you mean? Unmute yourself. Verbal means?
It's written or oral.
The use of words can be either spoken or written. So verbal is divided into 2. We have oral communication and written communication. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So who can you give me an example of oral communication?
Meetings.
Yeah, meetings. What example?
We have the presentation and the lectures.
Yeah, presentations and lectures.
Then we have workshop.
Workshops.
And conversation through mouth.
Yeah, conversations through face to face. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have the speeches. Okay. Becky, can you give us one example of visual?
Of
Example of visual communication.
graphs.
Yeah.
Graphs.
Graphs. Visual communication. Where you use only sight. You use your eyes to see, but there's no sound.
Around you.
Yeah, yes. Ready? Give us an example of visual. Example of visual.
Gestures.
No, these charts, those are non-verbal. Come on, give us one.
Yes, Mwalimu.
Yeah, give us one example of visual. Form of
I've
communication.
just joined. I'm trying to follow up. I've just joined right now.
Okay. We are
Yes.
discussing about the forms of communication.
Ife?
Forms of communication.
Forms of communication.
Yes.
For- forms of communication.
Yes.
Uh,
So we are looking at the visual communication. Examples of visual.
visual, audiovisual.
Mhm. So we have said we have 5. We have verbal, non-verbal, audiovisual, we have audio and visual. So I was asking about the examples of visual. Okay. So do you have a calendar in your room? A calendar? Okay, a calendar will show you the date, the month, the year, but it doesn't talk. Does it speak? No. That's one of the examples of visual. We have the billboards. We have the charts. Are we together? Okay. Now give me examples of non-verbal. Examples of non-verbal.
Gestures,
We have gestures.
pictures,
Pictures.
facial
Pictures,
expression,
they are social expressions, yeah. But pictures, they are under visual.
Science.
Signs, yes. Gesture
eye contact,
and
Hand movement.
eye contact,
eye contact, yes. Body movement, yes. Another one,
Touch and dance.
yes. Okay, that's good. So do you have any question on the forms of communication? Any question? Any question from your notes where you never understood well? Just ask a question. You don't have any question? Okay. Let us now move to another topic. Let us look at the summary writing. Now, the summarizing. Make sure you mute yourself so that we reduce the noise. Yes. Okay. Summarizing is under interpretation. Under interpretation, you are course outline. So before you write a summary, you must understand how you come up with a sentence. Because without knowing a sentence, you cannot write a summary. Now, let us start with the definition of a sentence. You can define a sentence for us. A sentence.
Two or more words in a line.
You're putting two or more words in a line. That's how Becky was said.
Yes.
Yes. So if I say Becky Omondi, is it a sentence?
No.
Why not? Those are two words.
A sentence must have a noun.
Yes.
And maybe a verb.
It must have a noun and a verb. Okay. Meaning?
You.
Yes, yes.
What?
Yes. Is it Omondi? Omondi, you can Omondi.
Yes, Mwalimu.
You can define a sentence. Okay, we can say a sentence is a combination of words with a particular meaning. That's the simplest definition. Combination of words with a specific meaning. So if I say Omondi and Becky come tomorrow to see me, that one means there's a reason why you are coming. There must be a reason. I need you to come. So that's a sentence. So we cannot ignore that some sentences can have only one word. Like now, if I say come, that's a sentence. Come, go, talk, that's a sentence. So it must have a meaning, must have a specific meaning. Okay, so when we say a summary is just a paragraph. A paragraph of what you have read or what you have heard. So we can define a summary as a condensation of a larger, condensing of a larger text. Maybe can you mute yourself? Yeah. So you are given a bigger text. It can be either a storybook or you are given a comprehension. You read the comprehension, then you make sure you come up with only one paragraph. That's what we mean when we say summary. You can be given a book, you can be given a story, and then you are supposed to come out with a few words from them. So you are condensing it. So a summary must be of only one paragraph. A summary consists of only one paragraph. Now, how do you write a summary? So before you start writing, you must prepare how to write. Now, when we are preparing, we have some steps there which you're supposed to follow. There are 3 steps which you're supposed to follow when you are preparing to write a summary. The first step called skim the piece. Skimming means you are going through the text which you have been given. You don't use a lot of time, just go through the information which you have been given. Then, when you are reading, you don't write anything. The first step, don't write anything. Don't take any notes. Then the second step, you read thoroughly. When you read thoroughly, it means you must understand the content of the text which have been given. So understand what you are reading. You continue reading until you get the author's purpose in your mind. You understand what the author meant. Then you take notes. As you continue reading, make sure you take the notes. You write the subheadings. If there's no subheading, you can come up with a subheading according to what you have read. Then you make sure that you divide the work into sections, just in your mind, or you can write it somewhere. Then you consider why you have been given that assignment. You write the author's main points from each section. Okay. Make sure when you are reading, you underline the main ideas of the work. Underline the main ideas because they are the ones which you are going to use when you are going to write your summary. Then step 3, outline the article. So when you say outline the article, we mean you write down the support points of each section. You just write the support points from each section. Leave away the minor details. Okay. So after doing that, now you start writing your summary. You start writing your summary because you have prepared. Now you start writing the summary. Now in writing the summary, you are supposed to start with a clear identification of the work. Meaning, make sure your readers knows your intentions. The readers, they must understand your intentions and they understand that you are not giving out your work. This another person's work. So you are covering the work of another author. So you are just summarizing what has been written by another person. So when you are writing your summary, you write in the present tense. Use the present tense when you are writing your summary. So step 3, you are summarizing a piece as a whole. Make sure you leave out all the information which is not necessary. Leave out all the information which is not important, writing your summary. So you're supposed to write your summary using a summarizing language. So when we say summarizing language, what does that mean? You use phrases. Just use phrases, or you, for example, you can say, according to the other suggestions, I mean this and this, because it is not your work. So make sure you present the material in a neutral way, meaning you just say, you don't say I mean this or I say this. You must give out, you say it is your opinion, maybe it is your ideas or interpretations. Because if you say you are the one who is commanding, then because you say the summary is not your work, it will mean you are the one who wrote that text. Make sure you choose some words which you're supposed to use so that you become as brief as possible. Become as brief as possible, because I said a summary consists of only one paragraph. So make the summary shorter than the original piece. For example, you can give yourself a target of a length of a quarter of the original article. For example, if you were given 10 pages, a quarter of 10 pages is supposed to be 2.5. If you are given 1 page, then your paragraphs will be a quarter of 1 of that page. So after writing your summary, you're supposed to revise your summary so that you can understand whether you wrote the right information. You check for accuracy. Next one, you ask your friends to read on your behalf so that he or she can check the mistakes which you have made and then correct for you. And then if there's nobody to revise your work, you can revise it yourself. So make sure you monitor your work for accuracy and efficacy, and also you look at the writings and the tone. If it was a speech, look at the tone. And also you look at the voice before you start reading your summary. Okay, when you are asked to write a summary, you are given deadlines. Make sure you submit your work before the deadline. Make sure you submit your work before the deadline. Okay, so before we move to the features of a summary, I will allow you to ask questions. Who has a question? Okay, I can see a question from Becky. Becky is asking, rereading, is it a step in summary writing? You can answer that question. Yes, I can see your hand. Are you your phone? Yes, you can answer that question. Is reading a step in summary writing? S7, you can answer that question. Okay, reading is a step. Reading means you are revising. You are revising how you are going through the second round. you are reading the second round. So it is a step. I think it is the next step in preparing. It's the second step in preparation. Preparing to write. The second step, we say read the piece thoroughly. So reading the piece thoroughly means you are reading the work which you are going to summarize. So Tapombeki, reading is the second step in preparing to write a message, to write a summary. Yes. Another question? Another question? What's the question, Sharon?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
In the writing your summary,
Yes.
you have said that clear identity. What do you mean by saying clear identity? Clearly identity.
Okay, that's a good question. Let your friends answer you. Gideon? Gideon, can you answer that question? Okay. Let me answer on behalf of your friends. So that's what the first step of writing your summary, where we said you start with a clear identification of the work. Identification means you are making your readers to understand that you are the one who's writing a summary, but you are not the one who wrote the text which you are summarizing. So it means you are identifying yourself and the author. The author is the writer of the information which you are summarizing. So it is better you identify yourself. You say your name, you give out your intentions, and then you talk about the author of the work which you are covering. So number two, we said clearly identify the background information needed for your summary. So when you are identifying your work, make sure you write the type of the work, the title is the topic, the author is the writer, and the main points. That's what we mean by clear identification of the work. But in this case, we use present tense. Okay. Sharon, are we together? Sharon?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Another question? Yes, Mwangi, you have a question?
When you write a summary,
Yes.
you have to identify whether it's your opinion or it's coming from the author.
Yes, that's what we have said. You must give out a clear identification of the work, meaning you must tell us who you are, who was the author of that text which you are summarizing, the type of the text. Okay, so it means you must give us a clear information about the text which you are writing, the summary which you are writing, the type and the title, and also the owner of the work. So it is a must you identify. You give us the type of work, the title, author, and also the main point. That's why I say we use some phrases like suggestions, opinions. You give out your ideas, your interpretations, because the work is not yours. It is for the other person. Okay. Another
Okay.
question? Yeah. Another question? So if there's no another question, now it is better to look at the features of a summary. So there is where we have said about clear identification of the type of work, title, author, and the main points in the present tense. That's one of the features. When we say features, we mean the characteristics or the qualities of a good summary. So a good summary must start with a clear identification of the type of work, title, author, and the main points in the present tense. Okay, another feature, you make sure that you check your outline and your original to make sure you have covered the important points. So when you are going through a summary, make sure there is an outline and the main points have been covered. So don't put on your own ideas. You just say it is my ideas, but it was written by another person. So you must be very careful of your word choice or of your wordings. So we said you must use summarizing language as another feature. So you must periodically remind your reader that it is a summary. It is a summary. It's not your work. It is a summary. Okay. So use the phrases as we said, so that your readers will understand that it is not your work, but it is the other person's work which you are summarizing. Then when you are writing a summary, you must make sure that you write a complete bibliography. And when you are writing it, make sure you follow the ABA format, whereby you write the title, the work, the author, and the source. Okay, so a good summary must have those 5 features for it to be called a good summary. Meeting. 5.